welcome everyone to the final series of EdLeadS 2021. I am Mahira and I'll be your MC for today. First of all, thank you to the Ministry of Higher Education and all partners for EdLeadS 2021. Thank you to our local partners, Lenovo, CREST, Twimbit, GeekX Global, Maybank, TikTok, and our international partners, Sensible Soccer and GB8. Participants, stay tuned until the end of this series to stand a chance to win merchandise from Sensible Soccer. So how to win this merchandise? First 100 registered participants who completed all the 10 series will definitely get their hands on these prizes. If you watch all the 10 series and are active in the Q&A session, you will stand a chance to win as well. Check your registered email from events@educity.com.my because we will be contacting the winners to confirm your details. At the end of this series, we will be having a special quiz session where the winner of the grand prize, none other than a signed MU home jersey and 2 M7 tablets from Lenovo will be announced. Before we start, I would like to share some key takeaway messages from the previous series we had with Mr. Koo Hung Chuan on the topic of digital transforms future of work. Due to the rapid digitalization, technology like AI, data mining, 5G network are evolving, and these give the high impact in the working culture. So we have to prepare and change our mindset to take up in facing the future industrial revolutions. So moving on, if we have missed our previous series, fret not, as we have uploaded them on our YouTube channel, EduCity Official, or you can visit our website at edleads.educity.com.my. Well, today's series will feature Dr. NorAzmi Alias from Collaborative Research in Engineering, Science and Technology Center, or CREST. The webinar on Are You Ready for Jobs of the Future will be moderated by EduCity consultant and data analyst Terasik, En Erhanfadli Mohd Azrai. Before I pass the platform to En Erhan to kick off the session, let us watch this video for a teaser of today's topic.
Hello, Assalamualaikum everyone. Very good morning. Thank you for actually being here, participating in this webinar. EdLeadS has been, EduCity has been kind to actually organize this EdLeadS, and we are excited to actually having Dr. NorAzmi Alias with us. Dr. NorAzmi ni, let me explain a bit more. Dr. NorAzmi has been a career researcher and also built human capital in research and technology. So for the past 30 years, he has worked in Motorola, in CREST, and he has a PhD in chemical engineering. So I think his profile speaks speaks loud about how he developed a group of young engineers, a group of management in multinational companies that handles research and high value work. So we are pleased to actually have Dr. NorAzmi here. Thank you, Doc. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So before we run this program, let me explain the format. We have Doc. We'll be speaking about I think about half an hour before we have a question and answer. I think even during the talk, participants should be able to actually key in your question and answer, questions, so that we can actually formulate, I think, the questions after the talk ends. I think without further ado, Doc, floor is yours.
Thank you, Erhan. First of all, good morning. Assalamualaikum to everyone. Thank you to EduCity for the invitation for me to speak and be the closing speakers for the city leadership summit 2021. So I'm really honored to be given the chance. So I'm gonna covering, I think towards the most question that people ask. I think they have been talk about the future works, what are the future kind of skills required. I think most speakers have covered that. I think talking about digital economy, digitalization of work, how to use digital technology to make your work much faster, much easier, and much more fluid. So my topic will be covering in terms of looking at what will be the so-called the jobs of the future, and how do you make yourself ready for the job of the future. So I think that's the area that we can be covering today. Yeah. So basically, if you look in terms of more so talking about the jobs of the future, with the recent pandemic. I mean, not recent anymore. It's about more than a year we have gone through this. We have been in this pandemic. What it does is it tends to put ourselves in a bit of a constraint, right? A constraint, and when people are put on constraint, they tend to get very creative, and what happened is it accelerates certain things, right? If we're talking about digital technology, people are talking about you need to adopt digital technology, from everything that you do, right? From how you do your work, how do you improve your purchases, how you improve your go and see a doctor. And what it does is accelerate this whole adoption of digital technology, because you cannot go anywhere. You have to stay home, right? I think that's the kind of challenges that we see with the COVID-19 pandemic kind of a situation. And even more so now, if you're talking about doing jobs, right? As it is today versus what we're going to be, has to get ourselves to be ready. Is how do you get yourself with new skills, call it. And these skills, when we're talking about new skills, it's still going back to the digital kind of technology. These digital skills you need to actually embrace yourself and master, so that you can continue to make yourself relevant to the industry. And I think with the series of talk that we have under EdLeadS summit, we're also trying to cater for giving some sort of advice and heads up to the young talent, especially those who are graduating from college, even high school, right? They need to know what are the skills they need to have, so that they can get themselves to be more ready, more resilient. They can adapt to any kind of changes and make yourself more marketable. So you don't have to worry about not having a job, right? Due to any kind of crisis that's coming up beyond the COVID-19. But one thing that I want to answer at the end of this session, give you a lot of tips and what people have done, what are the things that you can do to acquire these skills and master these skills. And I'm giving a bit of a not the specific what to do in a recipe kind of a format, but in terms of these are things that you could consider to acquire and master these skills, right? So let's get the setting right, in terms of and take ourselves back into the date of 18 March 2020, even a few days before that. And I think these are the so-called the tipping point of the what changes next that coming with the COVID-19 and the placement of the movement control order. That's kind of change the way we do things, right? So maybe we can while you're listening, you can start thinking what happened to your life, what happened to your activities that you do, either you are at home or you are going to school, or you are going to social events, or you have to meet somebody, or not. before and after, and before and during the pandemic. I mean, right now we're still in the pandemic, so what changes, right? I mean, these are the things that, you know, I'd like everybody to start thinking, and maybe share your so-called things that you've gone through in your either work or your life or your family, you know, activity, because of the pandemic, because of the, you know, movement control order, right? So it's kind of will help you to think through, okay, what, you know, what are the changes, and, you know, what things that I have to do differently, right? So if you go more specific in terms of, you know, what are the few activities that we can, you know, zoom in, we can zoom in into the learning, right? So how do you know, you do your, so you're a student, or you're a teacher, or you're an educator, how is learning being done before the pandemic and now during the pandemic? Most of us are staying home, right? So, you know, there are things that need to be done differently. So what are those things, right? If you're into sports, for example, right? So, you know, I think, you know, if you are followers of Liverpool or Manchester United, so they have to pick the red team, right? So not the you know, the favorite red, you know, team from Manchester United. What if, you know, you're a fan of that, or what if you are a player in the sports? So how do you manage that? Work, right? Essentially, work changed completely from you have to be in the office and whatnot, right? And you have to actually still deliver the results that you need to deliver. Of course, due to the pandemic, the economic crisis that comes along with it, there is a change in terms of I guess the demand and then also the supply. And so, but you still have to deliver your work or what you have to do for your particular job, right? Shopping, right? We like to go to the malls, right? We like to go and do window shopping. We go to, you know, the different malls just to take a look and before we decide to buy. The whole thing changed, right? The habit of shopping, the activity that you do before you decide to purchase, right? I think even before, you know, this pandemic, people go into the mall to look for, you know, and have a feel and try of the, you know, product they want to buy, right? And those who are in the know, they say, you know, yeah, I can go and take a look, but I will buy online. Right? But this whole thing changed dramatically, right? You go to shopping malls, you know, you can probably, you know, easily count the number of people in the mall. Shops are open, shops are not open. And those, you know, for our religious affairs, so, you know, we cannot attend, you know, places that we go to, you know, to do religious activity. You know, when they are deaf in the family or deaf in your things are limited, right? And social events, you know, marriage ceremony, you know, celebration event, even all other events are limited. So how do actually people do this, right? And one thing in common, they must be, you know, they have to adopt this digital technology, right? So I think, you know, with that, you know, you have to think through what are the skills or habits that you acquire in this pandemic, and how do you enhance, you know, these skills, you know, how do you, you know, achieve similar results, similar to the, you know, results that you have that you can achieve prior to the pandemic, but now things have to be done a bit differently. So those are the things that you start to think through what changes, you know, because of this COVID-19, and you know, try to blame COVID-19, but these are the situation that we are in. So now, how do we react to that? So and maybe you can share that, you know, with your own experience. So I'd like to take into this, you know, because there's a lot of report being talked and, you know, people are referring to. So I just want to refer to one document that, you know, been published by the World Economic Forum, talking about what are the top 10 skills. You know, we're talking about skills, not the specific, you know, technology area or specific, you know, tools that they have to use. Talking about what are the top 10 skills that, you know, you must have, right? You know, going to 2025, going to, you know, the next few years. In fact, some of the skills are already been communicated, you know, kind of discussed and made public, you know, by many organizations, you know, by many research organizations, by even companies that are, you know, hiring people in the hundreds or the thousands. These are the skills they're looking for. Right? So I just want to pick, you know, one, you know, of few here. just take again the learning part. So talking about, you need to be able to be, do active learning, and you need to be looking in terms of your learning strategy, right? How do you learn, right? So now you are, not able to go to school, right? You're not able to go to your campus, right? You're not able to go to the lab. The lab hours are limited, but you still need to do your either engineering or your, science, physics or chemistry work, but you cannot have access to those labs, right? But how do you do that? So let's say you need to do design, you need to do some fabrication. So how do you, still acquire the learning that you have? How does teachers, for example, making sure that they can deliver the right, similar messages, and then will be, easily to be, adopted by the students, right? So all this, are changing, and these are the new skills that we will have to, adopt, over time, right? So if I want to share something, what we did in our own organization. In the past, we do a lot of our program, face to face and whatnot. Immediately, the announcements of, MCO on March 18, 2020, we were looking at what if scenario, what if the MCO are not lifted, right? That was back in March 2020. So, so we were arguing in terms of, or discussing, what if it got lifted after 2 months, after 3 months? What if it's not lifted? So then we said, okay, if it's not lifted, then it's okay, because we can do things as in business as usual, right? If it's lifted after 3 months. But if it's not lifted, if it's the MCO are not lifted, right, then we are going to be stuck in terms of, not able to do our face-to-face, and there are constraints, there are concerns for the safety, for the students and whatnot, for the participants. How do we still deliver? So we take a very so-called, extreme, decision. Let's move everything online, right? So, so if you follow, if you follow CREST program, the Great Lab, the Talent program over the years. Last year we moved everything, after March 18, everything is moved online. Right? So the whole year we are spending time in the rooms like this, and help, our partners to deliver their content online. They have to come out very, different way how to, deliver the content, so that the impact, the quality is the same, right? So, so we still, getting the assessment, the feedback. Do they get the same kind of value, the quality? So these are the things that you have to look at in terms of, even in the education, in the learning, in the training, right? Between both sides, the people that are delivering and people that, receiving. How do you, now make those changes, right? So that you can master the topic, you can master the skill that you want to master, without having to be face to face, without having to be physically present in the lab, for example. Right? So these are things, that need to be taught, or need to acquire those skills. The other group or category of skills that people talk about are, a lot more in the area of, creativity and innovation, creative thinking, complex problem solving, critical thinking, and how do you solve problem, do a reasoning, and whatnot. Believe me, these are not the skills that are inborn. You think that the innovators, the creative people, they are born to be creative, right? They are born, innovative. No, these are the skills that can be learned, right? And you have to go through a certain methodology, learn about the how to analyze problems, how do you break the problems down. So these are the skills that people are looking for. So let's say you're hired for a job, and you're given to solve a problem. I'm pretty sure what you're trying to solve in your new job, you have not seen it before you enter the job, right? Or else they make things seem a lot easier. And you need to understand, how do you formulate the problem, formulate the question, and if a complex problem, how do you, kind of, segmenting this complex problem, so that you identify the subsystem, sub-problems, and how do you go about, mastering these skills, right? So what are the things you need to do so that you can become more creative, you can become more innovative than you are right now? So again, this is not an easy test, because it's not specific in terms of let's learn coding, let's learn mechanical design, let's learn circuit design. It's not those skills, right? Those are hard skills. Those are technology knowledge that you will learn, from most common, institution. But the aspect of how do you, craft the problem statement and and analyze it step by step, so that you can master this skills of solving problem solving, take a complex problem, make it simpler, right, and able to come up with a path towards a solution, right? So there are ways to do that, and we'll talk more about that later. So the third area that we talk about are completely the hard skills, right? And now with the advancement of many different technology, you see that there's heavy usage of automation, sensors, sensing, monitoring, whatever can be monitored, right? Even you and me, when we're moving, there are some CCTV monitoring where you go. You can go beyond that. You can even look at it in terms of, are you who you say you are, right? Look at your faces, look at your movement, and tracking your whereabouts, right? And tracking machines, how the machines are behaving, right? So these are the hard skills, and it's a lot of first figure out how to use the technology that you have, right? So buying sensors to monitor, how do you put that together? How do you, I'm just talking about with Erhan, for example, how do you take 10 sensors and gather those information into a database in the cloud somewhere? So how do you do that? So that knowledge has to be acquired. You need to be able to learn, and you have to apply. So maybe you learn from one sensor, but you have to apply another sensor. And there are certain that are common. There are other areas that are not common, right? And how do you program these machines, for example? How do you program the robots, right? So I think one of the previous speakers talking about this robot will take over your job. Yes, will take over the things that you do, but you can still keep yourself a job by, because don't forget, who makes the robot? Who designed the robot? Who controls the robot? If you are the one that's doing the control designing, the instruction, what the robots have to do, you are better than the robots, because the robots are doing things because of your instruction or your programmable instruction you put in robots. And that will be, so the robot's still doing the job, the routine job that you used to do, or other people used to do, but you are in control in terms of what the robot should be doing, right? And we can get into very heavy discussion in terms of the autonomous robot and the robot will take over the human civilization. Let's not get into that discussion, right? And then in terms of how do you design particular product, how do you do the programming? And then I do not want to go to specific coding, things like C++, Python, and a lot of different coding techniques. These are things you have to master, right? Master not just able to take the code and write the code, but the ability to structure your program so that it's deliver the task that you can do. And you need to understand, how do you, put your, programming, how do you put your algorithm to solve a problem or to deliver the task that needs to be delivered. So these are the things that you need to, kind of be concerned with, right? I will not go to very specific in terms of what are the areas that you need to, or specific tools, specific technology. We'll not get into that. I think there's a lot of people talk about that, and you are already in your own academic program. There's a lot of details on those areas, right? So I think let's take a pause and we'll get a video from this World Economic Forum. What do they say about future skills and how does it impact all of us, whether we are already in the job or we are going to the job market. So I'll take a pause and let's listen to the video.
COVID-19 is one of the biggest crises of our time. It has impacted every single one of us, shaken our social systems, and disrupted every sector of our economies. The automation of work, combined with a global recession, led workers to lose their jobs at an accelerated pace compared to previous years. And this trend is expected to continue. The ongoing shift in the division of labor between humans, machines, and algorithms might displace 85 million jobs worldwide in the next 5 years, while 97 million new roles, ones that are more adapted to this new task distribution, may emerge. By 2025, companies expect to displace roughly 6% of their total workforce. 1 in 2 workers will need reskilling, and those remaining in their current roles will need to update 40% of their skill set to adapt to the changing labor market. There is a way to collectively benefit from these challenging times. Decades of research have shown that the most valuable asset of any economy or company is its human capital. Around the globe, companies are already experiencing a shortage in relevant skills for future roles and are investing in reskilling and upskilling their workforce. By 2025, organizations say they will train over 70% of their employees to ensure they can smoothly transition into the jobs of tomorrow. These include DevOps engineers, artificial intelligence specialists, digital marketing managers, talent acquisition specialists, and customer success specialists. It will take on average between 2 weeks and 5 months for workers to pick up new skills, allowing them to move into these new roles. But data shows they won't need to have the perfect skill set to start transitioning. While 2/3 of employers expect to get a return on investment in employees' reskilling programs within just 1 year, governments will also need to step in to update and fund education and training systems and to ensure displaced workers have adequate safety nets. With purposeful leadership and collaboration, we can turn this global crisis into a unique opportunity to transition into a future of jobs that is inclusive, fair, and sustainable.
So if you look further into the World Economic Report, I think they mentioned even what will be the future jobs be like, what are the specific jobs that are going to be in demand over the next few years, right? So we go from the top to bottom, we see a lot of information about data analytics, data scientists, anything related to AI, development, machine learning, deep learning, big data, and everything is related to digital, right? So there's a software, so you need to acquire the knowledge how to apply your programming knowledge, right? How do you apply your data analytics? How do you apply your IT in terms of information management, right? All these are the relevant so-called new jobs in the future. But you think it's the future, but there are already a demand for this kind of job now, right? And maybe not every companies are looking for this kind of skill set, but it's becoming hot so-called jobs that are in demand and they're paying quite a lot of salary, right? And I think the bottom there in terms of hardware, how do you control hardware? How do you get Internet of Things? Specialists, how do you using your cloud to push information from the hardware, the sensors, and able to monitor it online, right? Imagine now with the COVID-19, even after the vaccination, there's still a lot of concern, a lot of I guess worries that you can get infected with the virus, right? So maybe a lot of work can be done from home, even though you have to do manufacturing. So with the robots, with the IoT, with the data analytics, with the cloud infrastructure, you can still do manufacturing from home, right? Without having to be in the office or in the plant, or you can also do farming, for example, without having to be in the so-called farm, right? How about that? So how do you get to that, right? So so these are the things to come, right? And you probably can do your own googling and search. There are some places already doing that, right? And more than others. So and I think to give yourself an idea of what are the different jobs that people are doing in this certain area, go beyond what you see in this country. Go beyond what you see in your own place, your own so-called cities, your own companies. There are many jobs available that are require this kind of skills. Right? Data analytics, AI, machine automation, and these are the relevant skills that if you have them, they're going to be very valuable to the market. Right? So people can be looking for you rather than you looking for job. There are also been some report by the economists talking about is your job safe, right? With the digital economy, with the widespread, people can get connected and working from anywhere, anytime, right? 24/7 across the globe. So you can look in terms of how you can be working through digital platform, through the cloud, and not having to be in one place. Right? So you can be working for anybody. Like for me, for example, I have an office, but I'm hardly in my own office. So I could be in the coffee shop, I could be in my apartment, could be in somebody else's office, and still get my job done. Right? So these are the called the digital nomad, and there are a lot more of these people coming in, and even more so, you can be moving from countries to countries, right? To deliver your job. A co-working space, right? I think upstairs from us there is a co-working space under EduCity called Vice Space. You don't need to have your own office because you don't have to be in the office. Maybe you want to come to the office. So there are 2 million people worldwide that are working, from a co-working space because you get to meet new people, right? You create new opportunity. Gig economy. So this is a 24/7 operation where people from Africa, people from Middle East can get the job done for you without having to worry about, well, you can only work 8 days, 8 hours a day. But if I break down the work to be done in those who has the ability to deal with the work in different part of the world, why not? Right? And they, economists mentioned that the value of this economy is 50 billion a year. Right? That's a big value. And what it does is create a lot more people to be able to do the work. They get paid, and I think will get everything to be more productive. Process are heavily automated these days. I think they talk like about zero, where with the automation process, with the robotics, with autonomous and AI, things can be automated, right? So there's a lot of trend in this area. So the last part of the discussion, towards the tail end of this, I want to talk about how do you acquire these skills? What are the methods and also the so-called the guides that you can take away from this session and get yourself to be able to figure out what is the skills that I want to acquire and how do I acquire them. First of all, get online, get connected. All you guys already online, get already connected, so that's good. Look for challenges that you can pick on your own or with a small group that you can work together and pick up new skill by solving problem. Right? And that's the best way to learn, because sometimes you try to say, well, let me learn it first before I apply. Sometimes it's probably doesn't happen that in very linear manner. By giving you a problem, then you figure out what do I have to learn to solve the problem. So that's one thing you can do. There are a lot of industry challenges, a lot of hackathons out there. Go there, with the first intent only to learn. But if you win, that's a plus, it's a bonus, right? Make yourself know what you have done, so that people know what skills you have, and make yourself more accessible from LinkedIn, from your Facebook. Tell them what you have done. A bit of bragging for yourself, but don't overdo it. People know who you are, what you can do. You can show the evidence, and people will come and look for you. So these are some of the platforms you can as an example. I like EduCity because they have the element of experiential learning, right? So you learn how to become a robotic software engineer, for example. So they build the courses that you have to learn, maybe the 6, 7 different modules. You learn the core, the hard technology, programming, how to look at robots, how to make the robots learn and behave the way that you want it to behave through your coding and whatnot. Then you are, when you graduate, you're certified to become a robotic software engineer. So look for courses like that. There are a few in Malaysia as well, or there are similar in nature. If you want to be part of the global solvers around the world, check out this innocenti.com. It can be anybody. It doesn't have to be you have a certain degree, or you cannot. You must have certain degree to do certain things. You don't have to. If you have a good idea to solve a problem, post it, and you make, get selected, and they pay you for your solution, and then you learn how to work in the kind of a digital kind of a framework across the world, not restricted to where you are, right? So there are some local activity that we've been doing over the last few years, things that we do with this Folkwell, coronavirus hacking, to look in terms of what things can be done to address the issue of corona, COVID-19. There are organizations like Sunway, for example, have their own program. They're working with the MDEC and Magic, I think with Magic in this case, making challenge. So how to challenge yourself to make certain things for different areas, right? Or you be part of what CREST has been doing for the last 6-7 years. Be part of this great lab community that talking about learning and acquiring new skills by solving problems. And you get to be networking with people from different places, from different backgrounds, from different uses, or different kind of so-called places, and you get to team with them and work remotely to solve problems. How we started, we were working with a bunch of students from the UK, looking at how do I know what jobs are available in Malaysia. So we work with the companies and say these are the challenges, and get them to propose the challenges. The one that they give a good proposal, they get selected and they get internship. So that's how we get started. We also now have transformed that into a local program called the EdLeadS Challenge, where industries are giving the challenge to the local students, or maybe some students that are coming back from the foreign countries. Take up the challenges, show they can solve the problem, and some of these guys got really good, and they make a product that are kind of open the eyes of the companies, or they set up their own companies and have their own startup. So you can create your own future jobs, right? You can create your own future, so-called direction. Yes, this program are good because they allow you to be mingling with the companies. So that's at least the first level of engagement. But you can be working for your own company for all that you want. Right? So Nick is now, while he's his own startup, he's also working for Oracle. The group of people from Inside X, they left the multinational companies, decide to work on their postgraduate research and set up their own companies. Ibrahim, by the way, is still working at Vitrox in Penang, and he's doing his PhD, and he's starting his own AI company. Go figure, right? So this is probably the new way of the young digital so-called talent, where you can do multiple jobs because you are still young and things are can be done digitally. So you don't have to stick yourself to one job, right? We have more coming up, and this is a project that came from 2020, and they decided to put this urban farm so-called module in a grocery store as a startup, right? And it's all start with a very small module and not deliver a bigger system, right? So it's all about, you can create your own future job or create your own startup. You don't have to be looking at, the same skills are translatable between working for a company or working for yourself, right? So these are the same skills that you're going to be acquiring. So you have the options to, okay, I can work for the big corporation or work for yourself. Another program that's in Malaysia, been around for many years, is the Innovate Malaysia Design Competition for final year students. There's a lot of companies are part of that program. They put the challenges. You can learn the technology that they have. You can learn about solving the problem, and they may see you and say, "Well, come and work for me," right? So that's the kind of benefit of entering this kind of large program. Many companies get to see who you are, and then you may decide, okay, I think you have all the right skills that I can hire you. Right? For CREST, we are looking in terms of projects that has a value for commercialization or potential startup. So we've been involving with the Innovate Malaysia since 2013. One startup that we help nurture is this tech care with Dr. Hu Kang Siang. So the benefit of working with the ecosystem that we have, you get to even pay for your PhDs, right? For all you want. We have a second group coming up from also the Innovate Malaysia and the Great Lab Challenge, creating AI for machine failure prediction, right? So that's interesting. They're working with some big names company like SAS Institute and whatnot. Last year's winner, 2019 winners, they are looking in terms of how to create solution for the upper and lower limb to help people with the rehab, right, from stroke. So he's going to go into his PhD soon. If nothing else, just get yourself to be noticed, right? To be spotted by companies, and this is an example of EFA or city known in Nazifa. Actually, she went and asked to UST, "Do you have internship position?" Right? Never before they hired any intern, but because the courage is shown by EFA, said to ask for an internship position, they decided to give her intern position for that year. And then she demonstrated what she can do. They hire her now, and she showed the result by winning the internal competition of creating a kind of IoT platform right now used by UST for the company, or be part of a research program. So there's a lot of different options, not just with CREST, with any different organization. So there are a lot of options for you to consider. You don't have to get the skills to be hired by company. You can get the skills to be creating your own company, or you can create this kind of acquire the skills so that you can enhance yourself, become a postgraduate students and get your master's or PhD, right? So with that, I think I'm done my sharing, but also to a bit of an initial promotion to help with the so-called EduCity and also the IIB Iskandar investment. There's some program. If you are in Johor, if you are interested to come to Johor, and what to do? There's a lot of programs coming up. There's Iskandar Drones and Robotic Zone program is coming up. We're doing a lot of activity on urban farming, not just in Iskandar, the many different places in Johor. Skyman setting up the innovation city in Iskandar, right? And come to Johor, enjoy the food here in Johor if you are not from Johor yet, and let's see what we can. So with that, I'd like to thank you. You can get my link. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on the Facebook. You can contact me by email. You can contact me by phone. With that, I thank you very much, and thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you, Doc. It's enlightening to actually understand some of the key features on what the students should expect in their future jobs. I think there are very good questions coming in from the students, and I think I'll pick one or two to actually summarize some of the key points that you've mentioned. Before doing that, Doc, we had a few discussions so far, and then on a CV, if 20 years ago or 30 years ago, putting Microsoft Words or Microsoft PowerPoints and Excel is what people put to actually prepare them for the future. Do you think putting those words in your CVs now carries the same value, or what are the words that people are looking for in their CVs in people's CV to actually get them hired?
Good question, Erhan. I think in the CVs, now I think because people do not want to read so much in the CV. I think with digital, platform, digital media, people want to see some sort of evidence, right, that you have done certain things, right? So actually, I was working with one group of a startup from Oxford. So they were looking at all this web crawling to say you can write anything you want on your CV, but this so-called platform that they have, they can do web crawling to verify what you said on your CV and do a search in the internet to see whether you actually have done that. Sometimes you can write a lot of things on the CV and try to make people believe you, right? So I think it's not about writing the right words. I think you also need to use the digital platform to able to showcase what you have done, right? It's not about being bragging, not about trying to show that you can do this and whatnot better than the rest. It's about promoting yourself. I think LinkedIn is a good platform. Facebook is a good social media platform that you can actually use a way to tell people this is what I've done. And because I think the HR these days, they were looking to themselves, how is your behavior on the social media, for example, right? So when they do that, then they get everything quickly to themselves. This is what I've done. So not to say that I can do word perfect. I think there's a different from 20 years ago. Yes, ability to use Excel for them is very important, right? And it's still very important now. But I think you have to demonstrate how you're using Excel to do what, right? And you have to show by able to apply the knowledge that you acquire solve a problem. I think that's more important than putting words in your CV. So make a CV with the linkages on your YouTube channel. I think a lot of us probably have your own YouTube channel these days. Your LinkedIn circle profile, and update your LinkedIn profile the minute you finish certain things. So don't waste time, right?
Okay.
Use it to your benefit. Right?
Okay. Okay, Doc. We have a few questions on the. I can sense the anxiousness among the questions. So I think Fazlin Azima, Sivanes Uta Suryan, Cik Wan, I think Cik Wan pun sama juga, Cik Wan Ahmad Saifuddin, actually talking about how do you learn these things and what are the learning strategies that you can employ to actually learn new things in your career, because these are lifelong.
Yeah. No, I think I just take you just my own personal experience. I move on from different so-called industry per se, but for whatever reason, still linked to the electronic industry. So I'm a chemical engineer, and when I did my postgraduate degree, I learned about more of material science of product. And we get to know in terms of how materials behave, for application in electronics, right? And
Yep.
I think first and foremost, you have to set what you want to be first, right? So you really don't do 20 years, right? Do like 5 years. I want to be, a data scientist in 5 years, right? I want to work as an IC design engineer in 5 years, or I want to be in 2 years to be able to make product for healthcare, digital platform for healthcare. Set a goal, right? So once you set a goal, then you know what are required for you to acquire the skills, and then look on how do you acquire the skills, right? So you have to have a goal, your personal goal, what you want to be, right? For example, I will change my my so-called goal every 5 to 10 years in terms of career. Right? So I move from semiconductor to kind of a chemical industry to the end product of electronics, and now in CREST. But now in CREST, I'm looking in terms of maybe I should go into this agriculture or farming next, right? And so that's by having a kind of a clear goal, because sometimes with human nature, if you can do it already, then you are seeking nada boleh buat leceh lah. I mean, you have to figure out what else I can do. So you keep changing your goals after you see that you have achieved your goal, move on and create a new goal, right? So that you can get yourself not bogged down with doing routine things, right? And learn new things. And I think these are very important to challenge yourself. Don't get into very complacent with what you have done. So you're always in the mode of I want to learn something new. So and if you ask me, I'm not the expert in many things that I have in my CV, for example, but I know enough to be dangerous, right? So and you learn a lot, and be humble and talk to people that know more than you, right? Yep. And I think that's very important. So and then they figure out the how to in terms of going to competition, go and taking courses. But the most important is how do you demonstrate that I've learned something, I can apply it into delivering a solution. And I think that's a complete learning as I see it.
Great answer, Doc. The other question that people ask is, once you actually put a lot of these things online, the interactions are online, the learnings are online, prints out and sorry, not prints out the Saudi in Saudi, but prints out in EduCity. And also Aminah Akaf actually asked about how do you in the new ways, how do you actually connect emotionally intelligence between and how do you establish relationship if everything is done online, on Zoom or on Clubhouse and everything? How would you respond to that?
Yeah, I think a lot of us sometimes got very comfortable more like the video conference or chat on WhatsApp and whatnot. I think every now and then you need to either pick up the call or say, hey, let's meet up just over coffee somewhere. And I think don't be monotonous, right? Monotonous in your way you interact, and you need to So I used to, because I used to take up the role as a communication person, in Motorola. One of the roles that I had in Motorola before I left Motorola is to manage the communication from the top down and bottoms up. So we said communicate, communicate, communicate. So basically 3 ways you have to communicate the same thing, right? So you can communicate through emails, you can communicate through videos, or you can send, a blast of information through maybe messaging or not. So you need to, establish multiple, I'll say, use the word, channel of communication, not a single, method, so that you can create this, a better, collaborative partnership. People understand you better, not from, right now, I probably have a different way how I address myself because I'm doing this kind of, webinar, this talk. But, they also want to know how are you in person, right? So
Yes.
when you're talking to you in person, are you the same character that you are when you are in this EdLeadS, series?
Yep.
So you need to establish a multiple channel of communication, many to many, many to one, one to one, right? And also you must have at least 1 or 2 face-to-face that people can see your emotion.
Yep.
Sometimes some people also don't want to show the video when they go into this online talk, right? So there's only do the audio. So you have to show your expression. You have to be sincere, right? Yeah.
And in the new workplace, I always have this, even when I was fresh graduate, how do you introduce new ideas? I mean, suppose your CV is great, you get hired. I mean, you are moving into the companies. Companies have managers, a 40-year-old, 60-year-old owner of a company, and you are a 20-year-old who just graduated. And I think that those are generation gaps. How would you transition from transition the company between the old thing old ways of doing things into introducing new ideas or introducing new ways of doing work?
Great question. So I was in Motorola for quite a number of years, and in 6 years in the Motorola two-way design, two-way radio design, and then about 2-3 years in the semiconductor. One thing I like about this company, because they're not complacent in terms of when they have something, they can ask me what else can we do better, how we can do our design faster, how we can design better radio, how do you make better products, serve the customer better. Do that without increasing your costs. Right? It's like do more with less. Good, you have achieved your goal for 2020. 2021, can you do that, or do more with no increase in your cost? Okay, that's interesting. So that will make you thinking, right? So
Yes.
try to do that to your kids, for example. You guys, you have done this well. So I want you to, increase what you have achieved this year. Not 5 days, 10 days, 15 days, but I'm not going to increase your allowances. Right? And that will get people to be more creative. So in a way, it's about keep challenge yourself. Is this the best you can do? Is this the best that you have done? Is there other way to do better, right? Or what else people have done? So try to make a comparison and asking why. Why is it done this way? Why can be done better? So never get complacent. Even you have achieved the top of your whatever your field, right? You're probably the best in class, but when you're best in class, like last year Liverpool are number 1, right? And then now this year, all these other teams are trying to beat Liverpool. Now, we are on the 5th, position in the Premier League. So when you're at the top, always the competition coming in. So you need to be aware in terms of what other things you can do better to keep your I guess being in the leading position. It's easier to get to number 1, but to stay in number 1 is very difficult, right? And that's my simple suggestion.
Okay, that was talking about jobs and everything. Now we are talking about futures thing. I think I grouped a few questions on AI, machine learning. Are robots going to replace us?
Depend on the kind of work. I think if you look in terms of if you are using a lot of human labor to do a routine job, same activities, mundane and routine, and those are the jobs that can be replaced by robots, by AI. Just at home, right? So you can you don't have to do your own sweeping the floor these days, right? You can buy Roomba or equivalent to Roomba and turn it on, and there you go, right? So take away your own job, right? Having to do the routine of doing the cleaning sweeping the floor, right? So, and
No, your
still,
wife would not be angry at you again.
say again?
No, your wife would not be angry at you again for not
Yes,
cleaning.
correct. So the routine work will be replaced by robots. I think you need that, and I think the area where especially you need to ensure that there is a certain level of quality, right? Certain level of continuity, where human can get tired, right? Because I've been to places where people are checking the parts for the medical, plastic parts for medical or automotive, and because of the requirement, 100% inspection, somebody sitting there and take each part and look, okay, this is good, this is not good. So after 1 hour, after 2 hours, I'm pretty sure that the eyes can get tired, right? And your so-called ability to assess is this good or not good, especially those in the borderline,
Yep.
you're gonna get a lot of mixed up, right? And
just to add on that point, I think a few days back I saw one company that check ball bearings, because they import ball bearings from US, from China. So they have to separate between ball bearings. I think it was ball bearings, whether they have 6 or 7 ball bearings in a device.
right.
So previously they use manual work, so actually kira salah satu.
Yeah.
Now they're doing machines like reduced by 90% of time.
Exactly. So you areas where you have a lot of dependency on the human. I'm not saying you want to eliminate human. I think you want to eliminate human dependency, right?
Yep.
Human error. So I think these are the areas where a lot of routine check, a lot of requirement these days for European, so-called product, automotive and healthcare, they require 100% inspection. So I think on quality, yes, it's better to use machines, than depending on human labor. So those are the definitely going to get replaced. But area that people think about, okay, what about design? What about designing a product? What about designing a medicine? What about designing the antenna, for example? And we have a project that we have shown that you can design antenna within half an hour, right? Not having to hire any engineer. So just basically you have to put requirement of what antenna you want for what application. It will input the parameter into this computer, so-called program, and it will do even not just designing, even the validation of the design on a computer system, right? In less than half an hour. So imagine, any engineers out there, watch out, guys. You may not even become a electrical engineer anymore, right? You can take a degree in electrical engineering, but you don't have jobs anymore because you can take it over by AI, right? So it's coming, but I think maybe not in a big way, but the so-called the high-level jobs in designing and whatnot, there still need to be interaction with human. But I think slowly, if you want to accelerate your designing of new product, maybe by 10x, then don't hire engineers, hire AI, right? AI algorithms. So
But on the flip side of that is actually a few reports that I read was talking about care or healthcare.
Yeah.
It's because as quality of life improves, healthcare improves, so people are living longer and longer, which means that after you are 70, you need a lot of care, and the demand for human connection and care industry, so to speak, will be greater. So yes, the manual work at the manufacturing site would reduce, but a lot of these healthcare connected industries.
Yeah, I think that's very true. I think better use the time of the nurses or the caretaker, more in terms of the personal contact rather than do the routine. Please, sir, madam, I need to take your temperature. I need to take your blood pressure. Those can be done by automatic measurement and go to the cloud, go to the information on the mobile phone, right? And you don't have to spend your time to actually do that measurement. That can be done almost autonomously. And the role of the human or the nurses or the caretaker is now to build that personal relationship and really caring from the human aspect of things, rather than using the time to take routine measurement data. Like say, if you can take measurement from machines, you can also take measurements from your heartbeat, from your any signals of yourself, and that will go into the cloud, right? So is take away the routine so-called jobs from us, and create more value, right, in terms of the interaction between human to human interaction. Yeah, that's what I believe.
Yeah. So your advice on students on going forward, is it tools first, or is it domain knowledge first?
Okay, so I think people always argue that I need to have domain knowledge to be able to do certain things. I think that's almost like the old school. I mean, we came from that kind of background. We need to acquire the technical domain knowledge first before you actually do something. You need some basics of this basic physics, sciences, and biology and whatnot, depending on the area. The basic has to be there. So you need to have strong basics. I mean, this is typically done at the primary and secondary schools, right? The tools that you use to actually do design, the tools that you use to actually to develop a new product or solving a problem or monitoring, right? Those are more in terms of the enabler, I call it. Right? So from the so you have to have strong fundamentals, but you need to also have to have understand the method. How do you tackle a problem or task given to you? So how do you structure your problem? Right? How do you break it down to tasks? So those are the skills I think a lot of academics are not teaching that part, right? And these are only available from the industry because like for example, the people in design and manufacturing, they have this methodology on how to break down. Right? So let's say you want to design the laptop that we're using right now. So how do you design it to make sure that it's going to be able to do specific tasks, right? And breaking down to different sub activities, then you apply the so-called technical knowledge or domain knowledge, and then the tools that enable you to translate your knowledge to creating the solution. Right? So yeah, I'm not saying the soft skills, the essential skills of the methodology of experiment. So how do you design an experiment? How do you creating your requirements from the user requirement to your product requirement, for example. So for example, when you look in the iPhone, when they first come up with a single button, how do they come up with that, right? So I think these are the so-called knowledge that can be learned, and it's more methodology knowledge. It's not so much of a technology domain knowledge. So you have to have both. In fact, yeah.
Awesome. And I mean, we've been working from home for like a year and a half, maybe, a year and a half now. Is this culture going to, or is this trend going to continue in the next 1-2 years, or do you see this as going on for another few years?
I don't want to give a gloomy prediction, right? I think with the vaccination coming coming along, they will create a bit more of a sense of safety and also security to everyone. And just like when you have the so-called BCG or your polio kind of injection before, it doesn't mean it's going to be 100% eradicated, right? So there's always a chance that somebody can get it, but at least you know that there are some protection. Does it change the way we do things forever? I think to a large majority it will, because there's some cases where we take for granted you must meet that person in person, face to face and whatnot. But now you have a tendency to kind of think, what do I need why do I need to meet the person, right, in face to face? Maybe the first engagement I don't have to be face to face, but in terms of maybe securing deals, and doing a little bit of like you said, brainstorming. Some session can be done online, some session must be done face to face, right? But you're using the personal human to human contact, right? I think that will be the things to come. And like for example, in the first MCO, people going to more with this shopping or purchasing of their groceries using this digital WhatsApp platform and whatnot. Yep. And there's a lot of deliveries, but when they lift up the MCO for a short period, and the whole thing just kind of disappeared for a while. But now with the second MCO coming on board, everybody realized that, oh, I should have stick to that, right? I should have do things that I don't need to be. People like to be in the markets. They like to touch the fish. They like to touch the veggie. You don't need to do that because if you don't get the quality, you can just return back and you get refund. Right? And maybe the mindset has to change. To a certain extent, I think there are activities that are you do not need to be there in person. It will stay as digital. I think it's good for a lot of us. We can spend more time, or personal time, or family time, right? But the most important part, when we're working from home, for example, like you're learning that part as well, how to manage between your work time and your family time, but you're still at home, right? And how do you balance your schooling time or your courses time, versus non-schooling time, because you're also still at home. Right? So and I think these are the habits that people will create, and they will improvise. Humans are good at improvising, right? So I think I will not see that as a problem.
So another question from I don't know. There's so many interesting questions that I mean I'm merging into so that we can actually reduce time to actually answer this. Do you think? I mean, Vivian Lim actually asked, do you think the entertainment industry may be replaced by AI someday? What are the trends?
Okay. I'm not knowing the context of the question, but I'm just looking in terms of the context of what I've been doing. Right? If the content, perhaps, yeah. I mean, because a lot of contents are available online. If you load your database, you load your server with a lot of information from different. So let's say, can somebody create a movie from a content that is already available elsewhere? Maybe can, right? So sometimes you can do a lot of dubbing. You can automate the dubbing, and you can say I can create a new series, of so-called particular movies or whatever, using online content, right? It's elsewhere, right? So people don't have to, because you can create the background screen to be as real as possible. And people can be taking the different doing a different scene in the same scene, different activity, but different person in different location. But you can merge all that information using digital technology. I think it's doable, right? But not in the so-called the movie business, not in the advertising business. I don't know the limitation, but I think it is possible, right? So.
Okay, Doc. One last question on policy, Doc. I think that there's also anxiety whether we are producing enough jobs. I think you work in MNCs and you see how they actually expand in Malaysia, how they do activities here. What are the things that students can prepare to actually take those jobs, and what can government do to actually create more of those jobs for MNCs and all that?
Yeah, I think that the science is everywhere already, right? I think that's why I asked the question that I asked in the beginning, right? What changed in your life? What changed in what you are doing before the MCO and during the MCO? Now, the MCO extended. You certainly have students that this change where you need to apply more of your digital knowledge or ability to use digital platform to carry out your work. So you know that it's going to be. That's already been communicate or being predicted as the things to come, even before COVID-19, right? And I think this. I think you need to be preparing yourself. Be I guess comfortable, be familiar, and able, like I said, able to use the technology, right? Before you go and creating one. And just like when you are playing toys, for example, so first you want to enjoy. I mean, some of you guys may be playing the RC, helicopters before and whatnot, right? And it started as a gaming, able to use it. But now there are many companies hiring, like Aerodyne, for example. I think the program with the DRZ in Johor, looking in terms of drone and robotics. From just learning how to use them, you will have become very curious about how is it being created, how is it being designed. So I think you need to get yourself to ask questions how things are created. Yes, you can be using it, but if you want to advance yourself and get ready for future jobs or not, learn about how those things are created, how things are designed, and you can be not just the user anymore. You can be also the developer or the designers of a similar product. I think that will be a very important, mindset that you need to, to have for your future jobs, right? For example, right now, farming, people just want to buy, vegetable, but due to this COVID-19 situation, and you don't want to be, waiting for shipment of a vegetable from Cameron Island anymore. Can you have that vegetable, be done, near to your home? So there's a lot of learning about how do you farm, right? And it's not an easy task, as I understand it, as I also learn it, but something that you have to acquire. So you still have to acquire to advance yourself from where you are. So so you need to keep moving your goal. Once you are achieving that, from year to year.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Doc. Thank you for your insight. Thank you for your sharing. I think it has been a great.
Thank you for the questions from the audience. Yeah. Hopefully, this helpful.
Yep. So I think thank you, Doc. Thank you for the sharing. Thank you for the I think the insight that you have shared. I think it somehow should help us prepare on what to expect going forward. I think I'm passing the mic to Mira. Thank you everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. NorAzmi and Erhan for the fruitful session we had just now. So, existing workforce must reskill themselves, as well as the new graduate must learn the new skills and require them to be more resilient and marketable in our current job market. So perhaps we can have a final wave of goodbyes to all participants from you, Dr. NorAzmi and Encik Erhan.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to Dr. NorAzmi and Encik Erhan. All right, to all the participants, look out for the survey link in the chat box and survey page by the end of this series. You can also turn on the notification for email from events@educity.com.my because you will be receiving the e-certificate upon completing the survey. And for those who have completed all the 10 surveys for each series, you will get a platinum certificate. Please follow our social media handle @EduCity Official for Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and turn on the notification for any announcement that will be made after we wrap EdLeadS 2021. Do also check out our YouTube channel @EduCity Official if you missed the series. Now, participants, as mentioned, since the last series, it's getting exciting here since we will start our special quiz session in just a few minutes, where the winner of the grand prize, none other a signed MU jersey by the current players, and the Lenovo M7 tablets will be announced. Before I pass to Miss Yasmin to start the session, I would like to say again thank you to our local and international partners, speakers and moderators. Thank you to all participants who joined and never missed EdLeadS 2021 webinar series. Until we meet again in the future EduCity events, I am Mahira, signing off for EdLeadS 2021. Over to you, Miss Yasmin.
I'm Yasmin. I really do apologize from the technical team. We were having some technical difficulties, but everything has been sorted out. Let me again reintroduce myself to everyone. My name is Yasmin and I will be hosting the special quiz session. Thank you also to Mahira, Dr. NorAzmi and Erhan for that very insightful session. For your information, as I mentioned before, we are looking for those participants who will stand a chance to win a selected prize from Sensible Soccer up to the grand prize of a signed Manchester United jersey if they are very active in viewing all 10 series, they engage in the Q&A session, and they answer all the survey. So basically for the past 1 week, we had identified the active ones and requested for them to post on Facebook, I enjoy watching EduCity Leadership Summit 2021 because, and we have identified the 3 best Facebook posting, and here is the finalists for today. So can I see the list of finalists? I would like to now introduce Miss Kavita Siva Pragasam from University Science Malaysia. Hi, Kavita.
Hello.
I want to announce the second finalist, Henry Ho from University of Reading, Malaysia. Hello, hi Henry.
Hello.
Okay, I would like to introduce now Noor Hanani from University Technology Mara or UITM. Hi Hanani. Okay, thank you everyone. Let me just explain to you how the session will work. So basically, we will be going through 3 rounds of question and answer. The questions will be given from 3 different envelopes. So we kind of label the envelopes to envelope A, B, and C. Envelope A will have questions from series 1, 2, and 3, whereby envelope B are questions from series 4 to 6, and the last envelope will be questions from series 7, 8, 9, and 10. So basically, this is to test you whether or not you really are engaged during the session and you remember some of the tips and guidance that was presented by the speakers. So let's start now. There are 3 rounds for your information, whereby based on the 3 rounds, each of the finalists will have a choice to choose envelope. So example, if the first round, Miss Kavita, you were to choose envelope A, therefore we only have envelope B and C for the next finalists. Based on these 3 rounds, everybody will have an opportunity to choose the envelope. So each of you will have the first head start. Okay, so I will start with Kavita, followed by Henry and Hanani. Kavita, choose the questions from 3 of this envelope, from A, B, or C.
I would go for C.
You have chosen from C. Tell us the 2 proposed measures for effective communication. So this is a topic that was presented by both Mike and David Horrocks. Tell us one of the 2 proposed measures for effective communication.
I like this question. This is one of a really good topic because I believe we need to understand how to communicate. So from what I learned from their talk is basically number 1, we have to listen. We need to be good listeners in order to have effective communication. And second is definitely we should be open to suggestions and ideas and new learnings. We should be open to learnings and growth. So those are the 2 things that I believe that would actually help in effective communication.
Thank you, Kavita. I only asked you for one. You gave me 2 of the proposed measures for effective communication. Thank you very much. But I won't be giving you an answer whether it's correct or incorrect. The judges has taken down your answer, and then we will tabulate the marks whether you are spot right on or you are partially correct. I would like to go now to the next finalist, Henry. You only have envelope A and B. So please choose between A and B.
I think I would choose B.
Sorry?
I think I will choose B.
All right, thank you. So the topic is from Series 4, The Future of Banking by Maybank. Tell us, what does one needs in order to propose innovative ideas in the banking industry? Tell us, what does one needs to propose, to be able to propose innovative ideas in the banking industry? What does one needs to?
I think to propose innovative ideas in the banking industry, we need one needs to know about the banking industry and have an innovative mindset. As long as we are willing to learn and we have that motivation to learn about the customers' needs and what does people need to solve customers' needs. So yeah, I think that's what one needs to do.
Fantastic. Thank you, Henry. Again, the judges have taken down your answer and they will be marking you whether you are right and correct or partially correct. So I'll go next to Miss Hanani. You only have envelope A And your question is, from the topic of career versus careering by Twimbit, how would you define having a career versus choosing to focus on careering? So basically this question is asking you to define when you choose to have a career, that's the definition, instead of when you choose to focus on careering. There are two separate definitions of both, of career versus careering.
Okay, so far career is a job or profession that someone does for a long period time, while careering is a adventurous and aspirational job.
Wow, thank you very much, Hanani. That was really fantastic. The judges have taken down your answer and we'll tabulate the marks based on whether it's correct or partially correct. Thank you very much. Now we go to the second round, whereby Henry, you will have the chance to choose the first envelope. Which would you choose, A, B, or C?
Yeah, I would choose group A.
Group A, all right. From topic number 2, series 2, growth mindset by Sensible Soccer. Now, Mike and David gave 3 reasons why is it important for students to have a growth mindset. So basically, you will need to tell us at least one of the 3 reasons for what is so important for students to have a growth mindset.
One of the 3 reasons of having a growth mindset. I think we have one of the 3 reasons for having a growth mindset.
Yeah. Why is it important for students? How growth mindset is helping students today?
One of the 3 reasons. So,
You gave
students.
The importance of having a growth mindset and how is it helping students today?
Students were able to learn from their mistake, and from the growth mindset, they can actually go out of their comfort zone and to grow, to develop themselves more.
Thank you. Okay. So the judges has taken down your answer. You're quite definite with the answer, right? Quite confident. Yeah. Thank you, Henry. Now we have Hanani, who happens to only have B and C. Which one do you choose, Hanani?
I choose C.
C. And your question is from Series 8, Leadership by Sensible Soccer. Both Mike and David said, how do you become a good leader with good vision who encourages his or her team? How do you become a good leader with good vision who encourages his or her team? There was one advice that Mike and David gave.
For me, how to become a good leader is you have to have a good communication with your team's members, because if you have a good communication with team members, and others will confident with you. And then second is listening skills. You have to listen about the problem that have been that occur during the project or a task that you have given. And the next is teamwork. You must have teamwork within the team.
Okay, thank you. The judges has taken down your answer. You seem very confident. Now we have Kavita, who only has envelope B. Okay, from Series 5, Decision Making by Sensible Soccer, tell us one of the 2 proposed tips by Mike and David on how an individual make a decision. Can you tell us one of the 2 tips that both Mike and David propose on how an individual make a decision?
Good question. Actually, for what I understand is basically for someone to actually make a really good decision, they have to weigh pros and cons, the benefits and harm of the decision that they're going to make. Will it give them good or bad? So that's one of it that we have to really think about when we're going to make a decision.
Mm-hmm. All right. You're very confident with your answer. Thank you very much, Kavita. And that ends it for round 2. Okay, guys, so this is the last round. No pressure, but a bit of pressure. This is the last round that will determine who will go back with a Lenovo M7 tablet and who will go back with the grand prize of the Manchester United, assigned Manchester United home jersey. Okay, Hanani, you have the option to choose questions from A, B, or C. Sorry, you muted your mic. Can you give us which one did you choose?
I choose B.
B. Okay. From the Johor story by Yang Berhormat Datuk On, he quoted a definition of what is leadership. Can you share with us what was the definition of leadership as quoted by Yang Berhormat Datuk On Hafiz bin Gadzi?
Okay, leadership is it acts on uniting and motivating to accomplish your goals that benefits the organization of your team.
All right, so I'm very confident with your answer. Thank you very much. Now we go with Kavita. You have A and C. Which one would you choose?
I've done C, I've done B. I think I'll go for A.
Okay. So your questions will be from the topic of GigX Global. Tell us when Ms. Shireen explained what was the core of business for GigX Global.
In summary, I would say is bridging humans and digitization. So that's the whole thing. The whole umbrella that I can remember is basically bridging humans and digitization.
Okay, thank you, Kavita. Now, Henry, of course, you have the final envelope, and that is from C. Envelope C, your questions from series 9. Digital Transform Future of Work by Lenovo. Tell us one of the 5 types of cognitive skills required for the future of work. Tell us one of the 5 types the cognitive skills required for future work.
I think one of the most is one that I could think of is problem solving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. You're very confident in your answer. Thank you very much. The judges has taken down your answer. So while we wait for the judges to tabulate all the marks, maybe I can do a short chit-chat session with all 3 of you just to understand, why you're so passionate about Real Leadership Summit. Perhaps I can start with you, Kavita. So you are from University Science Malaysia. What are you studying in?
I am currently a final year student in exercise and sports science.
So you must be a fan of sensible soccer.
Yeah, one of the main attraction that, I was like, okay, I should join this is because of Man U, because my whole family is a big supporter of Man U. So when I saw it, I was like, okay, that's a sign.
Okay, I know your family must be hoping so hard that you're going to go back with the grand prize of the signed MU home jersey. So, Henry, you are one of EduCity partner, University of Reading. So, what are you studying in?
I'm studying currently studying psychology in University of Reading, Malaysia.
It's really exciting to study psychology, especially when we are talking about the topic of leadership. Do you understand how the topics were presented and whether it can be applied, whether to your studies or even to your personal life?
Yeah, I think it can be developed even in personal and professional life.
Okay, thank you. Hanani, you're from University Technology Mara, you ITM. So I'm sure there's a lot of participants out there who's like, your biggest supporter. Tell us, what course are you studying in now?
I study in chemical engineering and now I'm in third semester.
It's a really nice meet here. We have somebody who's in sports science, psychology, and chemical engineering. You guys are truly leaders of the next generation. So I think I would like to really thank you. Maybe perhaps Kavita, Henry, Hanani, maybe you can share a little bit about what EdLeadS means to you. Maybe Kavita?
Thank you, Yasmin. For the past 10 series is basically, it was really good for me because I enjoyed every single session. And I felt that it was really nice for me to take time away from studies to actually be in this and just let go and just listen to the speaker. So it really helped me to open up my understanding. And I always told this to my sister because my sister was supposed to join also, but unfortunately she couldn't. So I always told this to her. This is the opportunity for me to unlearn and relearn the things that I thought I knew before, but it's ever changing today. So I'm so excited that I actually joined this 10 series. So it was really good for me.
Thank you. That was a fantastic quote, unlearned and relearned. Thank you. Henry, what does EdLeadS mean to you?
Thank you, Yasmin. I really enjoyed all the talks from the beginning because it's like something new to me. I've never come across of these events where there are many speakers who came to speak about even leadership and the future of work. I've not really known about it. So I was really excited to know about this topic.
Okay, thank you. Hanani, you're very active for the past 10 series, you're very engaging. What does EdLeadS mean to you?
Yes, for me, EdLeadS give me sharing session is the best for 10 series. And as you guys know, I am an introvert person actually. So I don't have a good confidence level actually. So by joining this, then I could boost my confidence level.
All right, thank you. Thank you. It's really nice from us, the management team, to know how EdLeadS really impacted all the young leaders out there. And for your information, the reason why we do it 1 hour for the past 10 series, 1 hour two times a week, because we do not want you to get Zoom fatigue. Sometimes when we offer the topic, it's fresh, especially in the morning part, you'll be able to absorb it well. But unfortunately for Sensible Soccer, it's 7 a.m. in UK and they managed to join us at 3 p.m. Malaysia time.
Wow.
I will take a break from this session. We will go for a short commercial break. Stay tuned while we tabulate the answers and announce it. Everyone out there, stay tuned, a short commercial break. Okay?
This is where it begins. A place where she can dive into her dreams and swim against the current to reach her goal.
It is a starting point of a journey to explore uncharted territories, to use new knowledge for the best of mankind,
immersing in sustainable lifestyle, where you can feel the breeze on your skin. It's times like this that makes you feel alive. A time to create, a time to capture precious moments.
Where dreams are no longer just a dream, are the beginnings of a new reality. This is where I harness my potential.
This is where I explore possibilities.
This is where I expand my mind.
This is where her story begins. This is EduCity.
Hello, hi, we are back. And I think, thank you, Dr. Sakina. I would like to introduce first Dr. Sakina Sofia Baharom, who happens to be the project advisor for EdLeadS 2021 and director of operation for EduCity Iskandar Malaysia from Rahat. So, Doctor, we would like to announce we have 3 gifts. Everybody will not be going empty-handed. There will be 2 winners who will get the consolation prize of a Lenovo M7 tablet, whereby, as I mentioned, a Lenovo, a signed Manchester United home jersey. You can see there, in front. Yes. Sorry, because we're using a virtual background. So I put it here. You can see this is actually all signed by the current players, Cavani, Rashford, and many more. These are actually from UK, sponsored by Sensible Soccer. So, Dr. Sakina, would you do us the honors of announcing the 3rd winner who will be going back with the Lenovo M7 tablet?
Okay, anyway, Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. First and foremost, thank you for all the participants for viewing the series 1 until 10. That is sure, a very great gift. And I think the posting is since January 11th. Now it took us a month to finish this whole series. I think we are very thankful that to date we received more than about 1,000 over numbers of registration for the whole series, and about 30 higher education institutions. So we like to actually discuss or show our appreciation to all our participants. And we are very proud that other than Malaysia, there are also other international viewers from 11 countries, namely Indonesia, Singapore, Brunei, Philippines, India, Oman, Egypt, US, UK, Peru, and Germany. So thank you very much, everyone. So with the announcement, I have to say the judges took a little bit more time than we expect. There was so much deliberation, but we deliberated through our criteria. I have to thank the head of departments mainly, and also the auditor. So we even had an auditor to audit who is the actual winner. So without delay, we'd like to announce the first of the 2 consolation prize of Lenovo M7 tablet. And the first winner goes to, so they even gave me an envelope, to Hanani. So congratulations, Hanani, for winning.
Thank you.
So, Hanani, you're going back with the Lenovo M7 tablet. Thank you very much. Do stay online for a photo shoot. Dr. Sakina, we will answer. You will please announce the winner who got the 2nd place.
Yes. And the 2nd finalist for the Lenovo M7 Tablet 2 is, okay, let me open the envelope. It's actually Henry. So congratulations, Henry. Good job. This is actually a nice present from before Chinese New Year, right, Henry?
Yes. So you want both Hanani and Henry want a Lenovo M7 tablet at Sakina. So we would like to also thank Lenovo for sponsoring these 2 tablets. Thank you very much. So that this automatically, can you do the honors of Sakina of announcing the winner?
So the winner of the grand prize, who will bring home a Manchester United signed home jersey, is actually Kavita.
This is an exclusive signed Manchester United home jersey by all the current players. It was arranged by my Freeland and David Horrocks, especially for you, Kavita, who was the most active participant, spot on to all the answer. So thank you, everyone. Dr. Sakina, do you have a final words to say to all the participants?
That's right. First of all, thank you all the finalists for all the attentiveness and commitment throughout all the 10 series. We are very grateful. I think there are more events that we are planning for both students and educators in our community. So do follow us at our social media handle. There are very exciting events in 2021. We are curating to support the bigger plan of EduCity 2.0. But before I sign off, I like to personally thank all the team to make this event happen. It was not an easy feat. We were supposed to do face-to-face, but we decided to move online. So thank you to the team members for organizing this. And on behalf of EduCity Iskandar, we like to wish everyone Happy Chinese New Year, and we hope that by the year of 2021, we'll be happy and healthy in the year of the fox. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Sakina. Maybe we can have one photo shoot so everybody can just stay still for the next 2 seconds, because somebody will be taking a shot of the webinar session. Maybe you can have the first photo shoot. Smile for the camera. All right. And then I would like to also introduce the judges and auditor for today. Perhaps we can have them to open their camera. Ms. Farida Ismail, Head of Education Division. Mr. Kuna Segarande, Head of Operation Division. Mr. Fauzan Mansour, Head of EduCity Academy, who is the judge for today's session. And also Ms. Azlima Yusuf, Head of Management Division, who is our auditor. We would like to have a photo shoot of all the judges and auditor. Let's take a quick smile. Okay, if you've seen in the webinar, all right. Let's do another 3, 2, 1. Okay, I've also invited all of the committee members and the team from EduCity to join us for this photo shoot. Let's take a while for we have everyone in the screen for us to take a photo shoot.
Okay, smile everyone.
All right.
2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. All right.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. So, to all the participants out there, as Dr. Sakina said, we had more than I think 11 countries that is watching us, and more than 1,000 participants throughout the first and 10 series. A big thank you to all the committee members who have just joined us for the photo shoot. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We would like to inform you that, do you know, this is not a 3 months project. We actually took more than 1 year from initial conception to ideation and production up to execution to where we are today. So I would like to, on behalf of EduCity management and team, thank again Ministry of Higher Education and all of our partners. Thank you Lenovo for sponsoring the Lenovo M7 tablet, who was also one of the speakers. We'd like to thank CREST, Twimbit, GigX Global, Maybank, TikTok, and our international partner, Sensible 8 and Sensible Soccer and GB8. A big thank you to all the moderators as well, who's very supportive of us in Series 1 up until Series 10. And I think just from everyone, a big thank you to all the participants. We look forward to have more impactful programs to all the leaders out there. So I am Yasmin signing off, and we would like to say, hey, goodbye EdLeadS 2021. We look forward to EdLeadS 2022. Yasmin signing off. Wave to the camera, everyone.